after having heard of the tragic death of her father. That would have been difficult for her in 1952, and from then, certainly it has been there. So now we're having the disembarkation of... yes. They have.
Yes, I believe Miss Cabral is actually speaking to them now.
Indeed. There you go. So the first side there of Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex and Countess of Wessex, Sophie, his wife. They're now, Karen Cabral, the Chief of State Protocol, is having discussions with them. She takes Prince Edward to Governor General Sir Rodney Williams, and he has a discussion with Governor General Sir Rodney Williams, who will of course have a discussion there with the Royal Highnesses, and he'll introduce the Royal Highnesses to members of the greeting party. Of course, they're meeting now with Lady Williams, then to Honourable E.P. Chet Green, the Foreign Affairs Minister. Next up will be Osbert Frederick, Senator Osbert Frederick, who is the Deputy President of the Senate, who is having a quick pleasantry and discussion with the Royal Highnesses. So Gerald Watt QC, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, is next. Then Honourable Jamal Pringle, who is the leader of Her Majesty's Loyal Opposition, who is next up. And then a clinical salute from Lieutenant Pennyfeather's boss, who is...
as is expected.
As is expected, indeed. That's Colonel Talbot Benjamin, having a quick discussion there with... I'll tell you about the military antecedents of Prince Edward a bit later as well. Now he's having a quick discussion with Atlee Rodney, the Commissioner of Police. Next up will be Lieutenant Colonel Edward Croft, who is not only the head of the ONDCP, the Office of National Drug and Money Laundering Control Policy, but also the chairman of the Duke of Edinburgh Awards. And of course has some resonance for the Prince.
Yes.
Then up next will of course be resident British Commissioner Lindsay Thompson, who is also a member of the greeting party as well. And so a little bit of a courtesy there from resident British Commissioner Lindsay Thompson. But of course, you'd have to tell me that's a member.
So this is Captain Trish Lake, and next to her would be Captain Vaughn Simon. Captain Trish Lake serves as the Coast Guard Ops Officer, and Mr. Simon is the Coast Guard's Executive Officer. The purpose here today is to function as equerries for His and Her Royal Highness. Equerries is the traditional purpose for an equerry is to basically deal with the transport. Ensuring that the vehicle is ready, the driver is ready, the vehicle is up and is clean and everything prepped to get where it needs to go. For this purpose, I believe they'll be doing that as well as aides, representing the force in that capacity. So whatever it is that His or Her Excellency may need, they of course would be required to facilitate in as quickly a time as possible.
The camera is going off for a very warm moment as the flower girl, who is Sanaya Freeland, hands Countess of Wessex a bouquet, and as I said, she got her, a real nice warm pleasantry there from their Royal Highnesses. So there you go. The greeting party would have already met their Royal Highnesses, who have, as I said, landed here in Antigua and Barbuda for a whirlwind visit. So much taking place in a very short period of time, of course. When they leave here, the BC Bend National Airport, in fact, they're now getting the rolls still.
Yes. At this time, the guard commander will now approach His Royal Highness and introduce herself, explain to him how many persons are on the parade, and then invite him to inspect the troops.
Excellent, excellent indeed. The trailblazing, indeed,
before that, she must don her mask.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed, indeed. And of course, we're still in COVID-19. We're still in a pandemic. So, of course, everyone on the parade, all the members of the ABDF and the police force are masked. And most of the press corps are also masked. I mean, almost everybody here, over 90% of individuals here are in their masks as well. And so the discussion, as you indicating, I mean, it's an explanation you're saying to His Royal Highness.
Yes, so she explains to him her name, gives him her name, explains how many persons are on the parade, what position they are in, meaning in the open order, three ranks, they are at the attention, and she now asks him to, she now invites him to inspect the troops. He would usually give the nod of the head, and then he would accompany her on the inspection.
Absolutely. And a little bit of, and the striking up of the ABDF band as well to accompany the inspection of the guard.
Yes, for its ceremonial purpose. So obviously the inspecting party is His Royal Highness, the guard commander, the leader of the security forces, Colonel Benjamin, and Commissioner Rodney. And of course, the equerry for His Royal Highness, Captain Simon.
Absolutely. So they were seeing the beginning of this royal visit by Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex, and the Countess of Wessex, his wife Sophie. We'll tell you about much more about them, certainly in terms of the work with supporting the Queen, and of course also Prince Edward's own activities in terms of the military and charitable pursuits that he's also been on as well. In fact, they've had the Earl and Countess of Wessex Trust. In 2019, that was the Earl of Wessex, or the Wessex Youth Trust was renamed the Earl of Wessex Trust. We'll tell you a bit more about that a bit later on, of course, but so much to, of course, digest here, because they will be leaving from here and going to the Prime Minister's office, the office of the Prime Minister, where they'll, of course, be meeting with members of the cabinet and, of course, having discussions there. Then from there to the government house, yes, where they'll be having, in addition to, of course, an investiture, there will be a ceremony to salute Antigua and Barbuda's own journey. So there will be essentially a simultaneous look at both the journey of the Queen, 70 years, and also Antigua and Barbuda's journey for over 40 years now. Of course, Antigua and Barbuda will be celebrating its 41st anniversary of independence later this year on the 1st of November. So there will be a look there at both journeys for the Queen and for Antigua and Barbuda. Then they'll be going to the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, then to the National Sailing Academy, and then to wrap things up, to culminate this royal visit, a whirlwind visit, will of course be a visit to the historical Clarence House. So quite a bit, and they'll be really jetting, I mean, driving right across Antigua as well. Now, what is being said to her? What is being said to His Royal Highness?
Well, from my understanding, it seems he would have probably initiated the conversation, and she is simply entertaining him. As you said, he does have a lot of military history in his portfolio. He would have served, I believe, he would have gone through Sandhurst, as all of the royals do, done a bit of military training before he took up his royal duties. So I believe he may have been speaking to her on that front, military things.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. The Earl of Wessex supports the work of the armed forces both in the UK and abroad, holding a total of 8 military appointments. What is the command that's being given now on the parade?
Well, what is going to happen is that they're going to, I believe, give him his royal salute for him to carry on. And once, of course, he would have carried on, then they would leave.
think she's actually done a fantastic job in getting her voice projecting right across, because we're hearing very clearly here as well from just to she's to our right there, and of course just to talk a little bit more as His Royal Highness leaves the saluting desk after, of course, what has happened here.
Quite going to make their way to the vehicle.
To the vehicle, yes. So we would have to just make sure that we are. We're not necessarily in their way. Just a little bit more about the military appointments for His Royal Highness. In 2007, the Earl of Wessex became Royal Colonel of 2nd Battalion Rifles following the reorganization of the infantry, as he goes to his vehicle there. And of course, there'll be outriders taking him to, of course, the office of the Prime Minister. He regularly visits the battalion at their base in Northern Ireland and has visited them on several occasions while on operational duties, including in Afghanistan. His Royal Highness is a Royal Honorary Colonel of the Royal Wessex Yeomanry and the London Regiment, and meets servicemen and their families wherever possible. So quite a bit of, in terms of military acumen for His Royal Highness Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex, and his wife, of course, Sophie. He was born in at Buckingham Palace on the 10th of March 1964, later baptized Edward Anthony Richard Louis. Until his marriage in 1999, he was known as Prince Edward. Now he's the Earl of Wessex, the title given to him, of course, by the Queen, his mother. Now, of course, they're just making sure that all is in place, the security forces, making sure that everything is, they're rather being punctilious here, making sure that every last detail is checked and tracked. I think, the this is essentially the extent of your involvement with it, the arrival of the VC International Airport.
Yes.
Based on what you've seen, did it go well?
It went, I believe, perfectly. I would say perfectly. There were no hiccups at all. Everything transitioned quite smoothly. So now it's just for them to make their way to the Prime Minister's office to carry on their visit here.
Absolutely. Earl Charles Jr. will be at the Prime Minister's office, where he'll continue our coverage. Of course, we will be giving you extensive coverage throughout the entire day until about 6 o'clock, when their Royal Highnesses will be leaving Antigua and Barbuda after their whirlwind visit. The Royal Standard is on the vehicle in which the Royal Highnesses are.
Of course.
And of course, the parade now, after I mean, they would have done a fantastic job, I think, the ABDF and the members of the police force, in terms of they're now taking down the standard and the flag of Antigua and Barbuda, correct?
Yes.